What's going on, everybody? John here with you. It is Saturday, September 14th, 2024. How are all of you doing out there today? I know my phone has been going off a little bit as far as prepping for travel plans. I think it's actually going to happen, like I talked about last week. Speaking of fire, because that's what the kids say nowadays, last week, 10 and 4 out of the 14 picks. Again, we don't have to do any Thursday or Friday games, with the exception of anything on Thanksgiving. But that does mean, since there was no Friday game this week, there will be an extra one on the docket. So 10 and 5, that's what I'm hoping for. But I'll be completely honest with you. After last week going 10 and 4, it's an excellent start. Again, I missed first place or money by a point, which kind of stinks because I told you I forgot about the LA Chargers and Jim Harbaugh. And wouldn't you know it, that was the one that bit me right in the butt. However, with these 15 picks, I am hopeful that we have enough to still stay for the week above 500. So it does not mean I'm going to plummet all the way and be above 500. I still think we will have a winning week. But there's going to be some losers in here, and there's going to be a couple games where I'm just flipping a coin. I just want to be completely upfront with you here. So ride the hot week. That was fun. Just don't expect it to stay that way. Now, the Eliminator Challenge, again, I told you last week, getting that one wrong. And between Cincinnati and New England, I really couldn't understand how Cincinnati played so poorly. And good for Gerard Mayo, first year head coach for the New England Patriots. But let's start with Baltimore and Las Vegas. This is a giant spread. This is still sitting now at 8.5. Mine is 9.5. And some of you guys are saying that this is going to be an automatic lock of the week. Again, we talked about Baltimore just missing out on getting a win, getting a touchdown like right at the line, but it was overturned and this and that. Well, now it's time for Baltimore to right the ship against a Vegas team that I think that they can do some damage and run against on. I think Baltimore should win this one going away, but a 9.5, that sits right at the line for me of maybe 10, 12, something like that for Baltimore. I think they'll cover it, but it'll be by the skin of the teeth. But give me the Ravens. The cures for what ails you, the Carolina Panthers defense against the Los Angeles Chargers. And for the Chargers, I still think they're going to be sitting pretty in this week. I'm going to scroll up on the RotoWire side to see if anything else has changed. This spread has also moved down. Mine is 6.5 opening on Monday. It's currently sitting at 5. Not a lot of precip in Carolina, but it's still Herbert versus Young. And if Jim Harbaugh is able to run the ball the way that he did last week against Vegas, and getting a good win there when I thought that would be a little bit closer, I think the Chargers should be able to at least win this one and cover the 6.5 for me. Again, the spread has moved down, and the line is small. It's sitting at 38.5. So this could be nitty gritty to go either way. But if the Chargers can run the ball, my hope is that they can cover 6.5 and win by 7, maybe a little bit more. It's going to be right there for you. And maybe don't bet on that one, but I'm taking Baltimore and the Chargers in big spreads to start the week. Another one that looks pretty big, Dallas at home, taking on the New Orleans Saints. For the Cowboys, they looked very impressive last week against a Browns team that did not show a lot of fight. And Deshaun Watson didn't look all that good. In fact, he's got more cases on top of his head now coming in next week, and that's a whole nother can of worms. But for Dallas, the way that they played at home last year, I know New Orleans are pretty impressive to open, but again, that wasn't a very good team that they played. 6 does not seem like a lot on the spread. Mine sits at 6.5. I'm not going to overthink it. Give me the boys. See if they can go 2-0. This one concerns me a little bit. This is the hometown Leos. They're at home. Again, they took out Tampa Bay in the playoffs last year in that second round matchup, but the spread bothers me in this one, and I really feel like this could come back to bite me in the butt. But Tampa Bay gets 7.5 as they travel to Ford Field. Now, the one thing in Detroit's win in overtime, which was great with David Montgomery running the ball over and winning the coin toss, and that smile on the face of the head coach, Dan Campbell, when they won that coin toss, knowing that he was going to go 8 of 9 and rush it down and win the game, was pretty damn sweet. I'm not going to lie. However, Tampa, yes, they might be beat up a little bit where Detroit maybe could throw the ball down the field. We expect Amon-Ra to get more than, what, 2 or 3 catches or whatever he had last week. Could be an opportunity where Detroit wins by 14 points or something like that, and they can get this one comfortably. However, Detroit, I don't think, is going to be able to run the ball as effectively against Tampa Bay as they did against the Rams last week, because here's the issue. The Rams played better than the Lions did, but it's about getting results. Detroit did that. You never mistake a win. You're happy for it. But the issue I had with Detroit was they had some issues, and that game was close when Stafford was down to fourth and fifth string linemen and guys going out of position, and they could barely get to the quarterback. They couldn't cause any problems against Matthew Stafford, and I really do like Baker Mayfield. They say he's 1-6 on spreads where they're favored by getting 7.5 or more, and they don't cover it. That concerns me a little bit, but still, I think Detroit can play a lot better, and that's what might bite me in the butt here. But I think the spread is too big. Give me the Buccaneers. Give me the 7.5. I might lose this one, but the spread's too big for me to go the other way. Indianapolis and Green Bay. Green Bay getting 3.5. If Jordan Love was playing and he wasn't going to be out with a leg injury over the last 3 or 4 weeks, I'd take Green Bay in a finger snap. Right now, I think Indianapolis almost went toe-to-toe with Houston Texans last week. I know it's week 1. Sometimes you see some play that's above the other, and the quarterbacks and the offense isn't sharp, depending on how much or how little they played in the preseason. You can read into that too. But it's Malik Willis. I'm taking the Colts. I think that they can win this one by 4. All they got to do is cover 3.5. Jacksonville and Cleveland, 3.5. Jacksonville kind of shot themselves in the foot last week. I thought they had the Dolphins. I took the Dolphins, lost by 0.5 point, and now Jacksonville only has to cover 3.5 against Cleveland. Again, I already talked about Deshaun Watson and some of the stuff on top of his head. Can he play a hell of a lot better? Yes, he can. And that's what might help Cleveland a little bit, even getting the points. But I don't trust them yet right now. And I think Jacksonville really needs this win badly. They're a better team. And even if you're coming off with possible precip at 60% rain and some winds, it's going to be really humid and hot. I'm going to go ahead and take Jacksonville. I think that they won't let Cleveland escape and should be able to win this one and cover the 3.5. Very interesting. I was not going to take this one, but I was flipped on a lot of the stuff that I'm seeing. Again, some of the stuff I saw last week on these computer simulations, and I'm seeing it now. You're taking the Vikings to win by 14 or 15 points, some of you, against San Francisco 49ers. That seems like a lot. But the spread here for the 49ers, and again, let me look at this. They have to lay 6.5. Minnesota is going to get 6.5 at home, where they looked pretty good last week. Again, Sam Darnold maybe gets something on his former team in the 49ers. Who knows? If Christian McCaffrey's not right, I expect him not to play. It's still early in the year in week 2. I can't believe I'm saying this, and I hardly don't believe it myself, because as I look right now, the spread has moved down. San Francisco favored by 4.5, but yet I get 6.5 on mine. The over-under is only at 46.5, and I get 6.5 points to take the Vikings. Guys, I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm taking the Vikings. I'm taking them at home against San Francisco. I feel like that's going to burn me, but I have to do it. The spread looks too big. Seattle and New England. New England getting 3.5 after coming off at home the win against the Cincinnati Bengals. Seattle looked all right against Denver and Bo Nix, as you expected them to get the win. But honestly, guys, I want to see New England do it again. That's really the only thing I can say. You can be really high on them after week 1, and I understand it. But I want to see what they can do again. I'm going to take Seattle and hope that they can cover 3.5 on the road. New York Jets on the road heading to Tennessee. And Tennessee gets 4.5 as the home team. This is another one of those two where they say about 50% rain. The spread on the NFL RotoWire has moved down to 3.5. It's 4.5 on mine. I'm going to say it like this. Aaron Rodgers did not look good against San Francisco, but I think a lot of teams won't look good against that defense. It makes you wonder why I'm even picking Minnesota. I don't know myself. But on this game for the Jets in Tennessee, I think if Aaron Rodgers is going to start this season right, he's got to get a win. Will Levis, again, Tennessee was in complete control of the game until they weren't. Chicago didn't even have to score an offensive touchdown, and yet they won the game against the Titans when the Titans had a 17-0 lead on the Bears. Can they do something like that against the Jets defense? Hell, the Bears defense is pretty good, but I like Sauce Gardner and company, already one of the best corners in the league. Jets are going to be desperate for a win. Even if it's rain and everything else, I would expect Aaron Rodgers to play better in that than Will Levis does. Give me the Jets. I think they need this one badly. 4.5 is maybe something I would pass on, but since I don't have that luxury, give me the Jets. The stink of the week. And I really don't know which way to go with this one, ladies and gentlemen. Washington at home, and they only have to cover 2.5 against the Giants. Still a rookie quarterback making a second start in Jalen Daniels, and Daniel Jones and company, they don't look very good right now. But let me just say this, for as bad as they looked, this is one of those games on the schedule where the over-under is sitting at 43. I can't believe they think that many points are going to be scored. I guess they think that the Giants are going to get absolutely housed. I saw one of the things in here that says the Giants might win by 13 points. I don't know if I'd go by that much, but I'm going to take the Giants only because if there's a win to be had on the schedule, it's probably right now. I don't know how many more they're going to get. 2.5 doesn't seem like a high bar to climb for Washington, but it also doesn't seem like it's out of the possibility for the Giants the way that that's looking right now. Unbegrudgingly, I'm going to take the Giants and the 2.5 points on the road. I don't know how good Washington is just yet. Arizona and the Rams. Rams getting a 1.5 on the road against the Cardinals. I like the way the Cardinals looked last week. In fact, early on in that first half, I thought they might have had a good chance to beat the Buffalo Bills. And I talked about how good Matthew Stafford, I think Matthew Stafford, for all the games that he's played, the Super Bowl champion that he is, that game against the Lions was probably one of the best games in his career in a loss. And I mean that wholeheartedly because of all of the injuries to that line. I was a little bit disappointed. I can't be disappointed in the Lions win, but again, the fact that they did not get to Stafford and cause more pressure. I think Arizona is going to be able to do that. I also think Arizona is going to be able to run the ball a little bit better alongside James Conner and put some gashes. I think back and forth, this could be a very entertaining offensive game, and the stars could be out there. Right now, the spread is at 48, and Arizona is still 1 point. On the RotoWire, 1.5 for the Rams. I'm going to go ahead and take the Cardinals only because the Rams are so beat up right now on that line. Do I think the Rams can win this game outright? Absolutely. But I'll take the Cardinals in hopes that they match up against that line and figure it out and find a way to get to 1-1. Kansas City and Cincinnati. Well, I'm going to say don't bet on this one right away, even though this is at Arrowhead. Cincinnati getting 6.5 on the road. For this matchup historically, between Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes, Cincinnati plays Kansas City very well, and they're getting a lot of points, and they really need to rebound after what happened to them against the Patriots. In all honesty, this is going to go against the pick that I'm making. I'm taking the Chiefs, but in all honesty, I'm just going to tell you this flat out outright. Even though T. Higgins might be doubtful, and I think Zach Moss can play better, and Jamar Chase needs to get more targets. Because Cincinnati needs this so badly, and they historically play so well, I think they'll stay within that 6.5 number. I would take the Bengals, but after what I saw from week 1 and what Kansas City and Baltimore, that one was pretty close. Kansas City probably keeps it close. My hope is that they don't. Give me the Chiefs. Pittsburgh and Denver. Denver getting 3.5 at home against Pittsburgh. I'll be honest with you, Justin Fields, Russell Wilson doesn't matter to me right now. If you have the kicking edge on that side for Pittsburgh, being able to go 6 for 6, no doubt to me that they'll do it again. Give me the Steelers, only having to cover 3.5 on the road. This leads me to the last two games that I feel very comfortable with. Sunday Night Football, Houston and Chicago. Chicago got a good win last week. 6.5 against the Titans. 6.5 they have to cover against the Texans. Texans whole different offensive attack. Give me Houston. And for the Monday Night Football game, Philadelphia and Atlanta. Can Kirk Cousins play a lot better? Yes, he can. He does get 6.5 points on the road against the Eagles. but I don't trust them to be able to do that. Give me the Eagles. I think that they cover that one pretty easily. So I feel pretty good about those. So again, last week I went 10-4. There's 15 games on the docket. I'm hopeful for a 10-5. I don't think we're gonna get there. I think we might be closer to like a 8-7, 9-6 type of deal. I think I'll still be above 500, but we're not going to get as many winners this week. Please let me know if there's anything that I missed, like retroactively or just really ridiculously, because I do think there's some losers in this bunch that I'm going to give to you this week. And it's really hard within the first couple weeks. I'm just going to throw a bone to all of us for what we're going to see because I don't think these offenses are completely sharp yet. But still, there are some spreads in here that I think that are too large and the ones that I would stay away from. But those are my picks for the week. You let me know what you think. I think we got another winning one, and I think I can still stay above right now. Again, I only missed money from 1 point. Top had 12 last week. I had 10. Only one other person had 11. So I'm right in the bunch. It was a great start. Hope we can keep it going. I'll talk to you guys next week as far as the picks. My plan is still for tomorrow. The Tigers and the Baltimore Orioles. I'm very worried about tomorrow only because the Tigers almost threw a perfect game against the Orioles. Tyler Holton did give up one hit to Gunnar Henderson. Tigers still won 1-0, and the Twins lost. So they're only 2.5 out of the wild card, but it's Corbin Burns on the mound tomorrow for the O's against openers here for the Tigers. Man, if they can do it again and the Twins lose again, I'm really going to start to go crazy. I might have to send some more texts here to Cooper or Alec, get on this broadcast and try to ride this Tigers train because I'm geeked all over myself right now. I'm expecting to go back to 3.5 tomorrow, but they're in this thing and they're fighting. So I'll see you for the picks next week. I'll be on the air tomorrow on the Twitter X Space and YouTube side. Hope you can join me for, I think, a 7:15 start Eastern. Peace, guys.